All right, is that better? So, sorry about the technical difficulties. Looks like I put my computer to sleep right before I came downstairs and the camera shut off. So now it looks like I'm back up and running. Sorry about that, guys. And we're back. So thanks everyone for joining. A little update. Um, I don't know if you guys have had the pleasure of running into the new return system that eBay has, but I've had two that have happened already. And I'll talk about that, and I'll talk about some feedback, good things, bad things, sold updates, and warranty replacements. So let's see. All right, Adam, Carol, William, and a bunch of people in here. Catherine, Michelle, Wendy, Treasure Hustlers, Sarah, Dwayne, Four Oaks. So how's everyone doing? All right, so yeah, so I had the pleasure of doing with the new return system that they have. Well, that means basically if the buyer accepts or wants to return an item and claims they changed their mind, eBay's system will automatically accept the return. The buyer sends it back. So, Donna, you might have to refresh. So I had one today on one of the cameras that I sold, $150, $160 camera. Buyer shipping that back. So I'm kind of nervous on that because uh, PayPal or eBay siding with the buyer or the seller if they switch item out. Yeah, I am batting 0 on that. So let's see. All right, guys. So feedback. I know I've mentioned it before, but before I started auto feedback, so in my store, you can go in and you can set up auto feedback. I'm not sure. I could not do it with the basic store, and without a store, I could not do it. Uh, this is from my experience now. When I would not do feedback so regularly, my feedback would hover around 30 every month, every 30 days. Now that I have switched to auto feedback, I'm running about 70 to 72 feedback per month. So I don't know what's causing it. I don't know if it's this Q4, but just the number of people leaving feedback is exponential at this point. I'll still keep trending it and checking it out after the year or after Christmas just to make sure that that's the case. But my feedback, that's how I've been able to get. I feel I've been able to get more feedback, and it started happening before fourth quarter. I know feedback's uh, not the greatest. Um, doesn't really mean much. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with their algorithm, whatever. But if you were, so this kind of leads into the negative feedback. If you do have a negative feedback, positive feedback will help lower your bad percentage, right? So I the dread is getting that one feedback, right? The one negative, or getting any negative. So what do you do to undo the negative or mitigate that, right? Carol says she doesn't care about feedback. Treasure Hustler says auto feedback is available for basic stores. Maybe I missed it then. Whoops. But yeah, I couldn't find it. Maybe it is. I'll take your word for it. But yeah, if you're not on auto feedback, maybe you go in and leave feedback as appropriate. I tried to do it. I tried to batch it. Maybe every week I'd go in and leave feedback. But yeah, Adam, I have the lightning cord, so shoot me a message. Just let me know. Yeah, so it might figure into the algorithm. I am not 100% sure. I would assume it would because eBay would probably want their higher and better sellers to be featured more. I don't know. That is a complete guess on my part. So yeah, negative feedback. Now, the more feedback you have, if you have a negative, it mitigates the impact of that negative, right? So if you have 10 feedback and get a negative, your percent is going to be really low. Now, if you have 500, 1,000, 2,000 feedback with one negative, that's not going to mean much to you, right? Because the number of feedbacks coming in is going to outweigh that one negative. So again, the auto feedback has helped up my percentage. I think, have one or two negative. I will tell you about those, but those were out of my control. And this is kind of what I've been doing to mitigate that, as well as lessen the impact of it. So if you get, so feedback extortion, right? That's kind of one thing to look out for. If you sell something to a buyer and the buyer states something about something's wrong with the item, they basically say, hey, if you don't give me a partial refund or you don't do this, you don't do that, then I'm going to leave you negative feedback. Anything with, but I'm going to leave you negative feedback if you don't do something in return, they're extorting the feedback in order to get something from you, blackmailing, whatever. At that point in time, I would definitely call eBay and let them know if they do leave feedback and is extorting you, or it's retaliatory, something derogatory against you, your store, your items, then definitely call eBay. So, hey, Jimma, how's it going? But yeah, so extortion. If feedback comes in and they haven't left it yet, they cannot extort you through feedback. Don't feel like you have to give in. Call eBay and have them side with you 99.9% of the time. I had a couple people do it. So yeah, don't get extorted. Just let it happen. So in most cases for feedback too, if you have any questions, always call eBay, explain the situation. Donna says, I don't do much on Facebook. I do leave them once I know, or feedback. I do leave it once I know the item has been delivered, but I don't go after the buyers. That is the thing. I don't go after them as well. You could say I don't go after them, but I do put a card in the package. I like to say, and that's probably helped too as well. I like to think it has. It basically says, if there's an issue, please reach out to me. Don't just go out there and leave a negative if there is an issue. Treasure Hustlers, we wait until the item has been delivered, then we leave feedback, so it might remind the buyer to leave us feedback. So there is a setting in the auto feedback. I think one of the videos I did, you can still do auto feedback, but I think there's an option to wait until delivered, or it's wait until paid. I forget which one, but there is a delay option that you can use. Carol says, I leave feedback as soon as I ship it. Forget about it. And Wolf, make sure you hit the little bell. Maybe you need to uncheck it and recheck it again just to refresh it. I know YouTube has some issues. A couple days ago, I wasn't getting alerts to some of my people that I follow, but I refreshed a couple of them and I was able to get it back. Hey, Joey. So yeah, when in doubt, call eBay. Don't get extorted. If they try to do anything against you with feedback, get that done. If you do get feedback or negative feedback, and again, if it's something derogatory against you or your store, seller tried to extort me, seller tried to purposely defraud me, seller's a bad seller, anything against you or you personally, you can call to get that removed. I called eBay when I had one, and basically they can leave negative feedback, and this is what I was told. My experience, I don't know if it's across the board, but they can leave, if you sell something that says it's the color white, they could leave negative feedback and say the item was not as white as I thought it would be, or something, right? It's not the color that I wanted, and they will not remove it because that's the seller experience, the buyer experience, I'm sorry. So there's some weird instances that they will not remove the feedback. Carrie says, I've been putting candy canes in my packages, usually great feedback if candy's involved. My only question with candy, have you ever had it melt or break open? And kind of, that would be my fear with candy. But if it's working, that's great. Are you wrapping it all? Maybe I would wrap it up. Yeah, Adam, I've had some numbers fluctuate on the unsubs. Either people are unsubbing and resubbing different people, because I have seen my numbers drop and then come back right away. But yeah, I guess you can leave candy canes if that's working. That's great. But if you do get feedback, there's a couple ways that you can handle it, right? You can either call eBay, see if they'll remove it. You can message the seller. 99% of the time, I will message the seller. In all cases, I'll message the seller. Say, hey, what happened? What can I do to help you? If it's a low price item, I will probably just refund them. If it's really an issue, and I will ask, not directly, but in a roundabout way, hopefully I change your experience about this transaction. So you can message them. I would always message the seller if you ever get negative feedback. Maybe they hit the wrong thing. Maybe I've heard and had people hit the negative by accident, and it was a positive message. What else? What other things have I had? The other thing you could do, so you work with the seller, right? Trying to understand what you can do. And there's another thing. You can ask the seller to revise it. I'm not 100% sure. I think you have a limited number of these. I am not positive. I will double check on this, though. But you can ask, there's in your feedback forum, you can go in and you could say, I forget what it is. It's ask, you basically click on it and it shows up, the negative shows up right there, and you click on it and you say, it's like ask the seller to revise the feedback. That gives them the ability to go in and it shoots them the message and say, hey, the buyer asked that you revise the feedback. Are you willing to? So I'm going to try and pull it up now. So if you go to feedback forum, oops. So if you go into your account at the top, on the left, if you go into feedback, in your feedback page, there is once that opens, it says at the top in the middle, it says go to feedback forum, and it says request feedback revision. If you can't find it, just search in eBay for request, or a Google. Just say request feedback revision eBay. Once you click on that, it'll show where the thing pops up, and you click on the seller. You can send them a note, and they'll get a message. I've had it where the buyer claimed something was wrong with it, and I worked with them. They revised it, and I got the negative removed. Calvin says, I send a thank you for your order feedback. It's that when I get the order. Also, I send a thank you card when shipped the message, just asking them to let me know the package was received safe and sound. That's good too. So as long as I think if the buyer knows that you're handling them with care, you're most always safe in that instance. So yeah, you can ask to revise it. I'm clicking on it since I have no negatives to revise. It says you have nothing. I'm not sure if you have a limited number of those, but if you don't get a lot of negative feedbacks, you won't need it a lot. But also, if you go into someone's feedback score, and right at the top, right where the feedback details start in your feedback, you will see a revised feedback in bold on the right, kind of like right over here. Basically, what that says is this is the number of negative or neutral feedback buyers have revised for this seller. So if someone has been able to revise the feedback for you, that number will appear. So a couple instances where I had someone purchase something. He claimed that I opened it. It was a mouse, a gaming mouse. He claimed I opened it and took the parts out. Well, I didn't know, and it wasn't that much money. I think it was 15 or 20 bucks. And I basically said, hey, buyer, I didn't do that. I didn't realize that happened. I buy merchandise and resell it. I'll be glad to give you your money back. And I sent him a feedback revision. I refunded him, and he went in, accepted the refund, and took the negative off. So that was one. I had one where the buyer was a freight forwarder. I shipped it to Miami, and it ended up in the Dominican Republic. The guy claimed it didn't work, so I gave him a return address from Miami. He yelled at me through email saying it cost him more to ship it back. You're a bad seller or whatever, and he left that in the feedback. Well, I called eBay. I said, hey, it's a freight forwarding address. I granted the return. I was going to work with him, give him his money back. And they said they sided with me because it was a freight forwarder, and he was derogatory in the feedback. So derogatory in the feedback, and they removed it. So that was the one. Now, I have two. One's about to fall off, and one's 6 months old. So one, the buyer basically said, and I think I did not, it was security cameras, and in the description when you put the UPC I copied off had two, and I sold one. And it said, feedback said, buyer only shipped one camera was the negative feedback. Well, I tried to work with him, and I say, hey, what's wrong? He never got back to me. So I would recommend, and this is one of the other tips here, if you do get a negative feedback or neutral, it is always, always, always in your best interest to go in and reply to that feedback. Within your feedback form, there's a section for you to reply to feedback. It will say reply to feedback received, and you can leave a reply for every feedback, positive, neutral, negative. I always recommend for neutral, negative, you go in and put a reply. So for that instance, I went in and I said, I asked buyer what was the issue. Buyer never responded. And there was, I forget the other one. I said, buyer had an issue with the item and they left me a negative. Let me pull it up to make sure I let you know what the right thing I said. But they basically accused me of something that I tried to resolve. And if I go do it, it says, they not work well. So that feedback would not be removed by eBay because it is their opinion. It is not derogatory against me. Even though it was 4 parts not working, and in the description I stated one of the earbuds did not work. So it was sold as a defective unit. So I responded to that buyer in my own feedback. It says description stated it was shorted. I offered return and buyer never sent it back. So always respond. Hey, Steve and Steph, how's it going? Yeah, sometimes you get lucky with customer service. If eBay customer service, if you don't like your answer, always call back. Call back, 2, 3 times. And I found on the East Coast, and that's a great point, Steve and Steph. For me, if I call after 8 p.m. Eastern, based on the customer, I hit the call me on the eBay. I will always get the Utah office, so it's always domestic support at that point. Whereas if I call during the day, I get international support. So sometimes it's a little better for me, I guess, if I call after 8 or closer to their closing time, it will forward to domestic to Utah. Should remove just for a sentence fragment. I don't know what that means. What's that mean, Chris? So yeah, so they said it didn't work well, and I just said I have to return buyer no sent back. I always also do not do this. Do not leave a positive feedback. Yeah, damn Utahns. Do not leave a negative comment as a positive if you're a seller. I've heard that's not eBay frowns upon that. I don't know what happens, but I would not recommend that. It's not in your best interest. Just swallow your pride, move on, keep selling, and block them if you have to. Should remove just for a fragment. I think I called and they wouldn't remove it because it was their opinion. I agree. They stated the item didn't work, but I stated the item didn't work. Treasure Hustler says, I don't think buyers should be able to leave negative feedback on the condition of an item if you sold it for parts not working. I agree. I lost that battle with the multiple people I talked to. Steven Steph says, we would keep calling customer service until we got someone who would actually help. Time consuming, but can work. Yeah, I agree. If it's something I was really passionate about, and it was like, if I get this camera back, this $160 camera, and there's an issue with it, I'm probably going to call from about 10 phones at once. I was told by eBay rep that they cannot remove negative feedback if you leave a response to it. Really? That's interesting. I never heard of that. But they cannot remove. That's weird. That they wouldn't remove it if you responded to it. But maybe as your last resort, if you can't remove it, if eBay's not working with you, if the seller's not working with you, then definitely reply. if that's your last resort. Because for me, if I go in and I see a buyer, a seller's under 100%, I will click on it and I'll read the negative. Uh, 9 times out of 10, if it's not something bad, I really don't care because it's probably one of the instances I ran into. But if it's something really glaring and there's no reply, then I'll be like, why didn't they respond? Maybe a new rep, maybe. So yeah. So negatives, I do your best never to get them, but if you do get them, there are options to fix it. So you know, uh, feedback extortion again. Don't be extorted through feedback. If they say anything, that is your green light that eBay will side with you. Um, Feedback against you or your person, if it's derogatory against you personally, eBay will side with you. When in doubt, call eBay. Again, ask the seller to revise it. That's a good thing you can do after you message with them. Work with the seller, and at the last resort, respond to the feedback on your page. And the last thing, I mean, as you become more seasoned and more numbers, more feedback numbers, one negative is not going to kill you. Yeah, I just said it. Negative is not the end of the world, says Dwayne. You can overcome it. Exactly. One negative, if you're 99.9, 99.8, 99.7, you are not, it's not going to kill you. You're going to up your transactions. You're going to join our listing challenge on Facebook, and you're going to sell, 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 and you're going to have negligible impact for that one negative. And after a year, it falls off. So, and then you will never see it in that number again unless you get another one. So, all right. So, any questions on feedback? That was good. Good dialogue. Some things I never heard. What do you guys do with negative feedback? So let's see here. I used to get upset when I get a negative. Now I don't care. Yeah. Once I was the same way. I got that first one and it was kind of like ripping the Band-Aid off. Now I'm like, whatever. So many transactions a month, it's not going to do anything for you. It's not going to hurt you. When a buyer doesn't pay, case is closed in your favor. eBay says a strike has been put on the buyer's record. Do you think that actually happens? I've had 5 non-payers this week. So I've heard. I've never had a repeat non-payer, but I would assume they do. And that's the other thing. If you close a return and you call and you say, I want to close this return, and they'll close it out for you, they open a case and they close in your favor. The buyer does not have the ability to leave feedback at that point. So if they start messaging you or doing whatever to try to get you to take the return back, eBay sided with you in your favor and you're good to go. PayPal is a different story. So, but yeah, we can talk about the PayPal return thing. We'll talk about that for a different show because that's all. So warranty replacements. I left it upstairs. I got a Seagate hard drive back, 2 terabytes. I will sell that for about $60 to $65, recertified, refurbished. Keep it on the box. Hey, Redneck, what's up? Yeah, great video last night on the live. I like that you did that. That's awesome. So yeah, I got a hard drive back. I'm going to list that. I have no problem selling those for about $63, let's say. So always check your warranties when you get those for the Seagate hard drives. All right, so what I sold last night, I sold these. About half the time, these work in the lots. So these things do well. Just double check. There's a ANC unit that's blue here with a blue circle. And then there's a UHQA unit. I've missold one that I said had the blue that didn't have it. It's the noise canceling. These aren't the noise canceling. I made sure to list it correctly. Just double check. And when you do sell similar, don't do the ANC if it's not on the box, because the buyer will say these aren't noise canceling. You say, sorry, I listed it wrong. Chris, on the Skull Candy, just go out to the website, hit support, select your item, select. I think you hit a date. I don't even know if you type in a reason. You click return, Then they send you an email. It says this return has been approved. You print out the label, and I purchase a label through PayPal, shipping label, and then I ship it back. And that's it. And then they send you back the repaired pair, so to say. So really super simple. If you need help after this, let me know. You just select your unit, hit return, and they send you something. So this, the Bomix TV box, I sold this Android. Now you can see here, this box says Pro on it, right? MXQ Pro. Well, I wonder if someone switched it out because it just says MX on the unit. I tested this for power, it works. I did not take a picture of the box just because it had the Pro and I didn't want an item not as described. So I just showed the inside. It has all the parts. Sold that for 20. The Pro units are going for like 50 to 60. So I was happy with 20. I knew this was a lower priced item on the manifest, so getting it out of here is really all I wanted to do. Benji says, got a lot of Sony headphones, earbuds yesterday and started to test them today. How are they doing? Are there a lot not working? So I have an auxiliary cord, Ivanki. These sell well, but they are so long tail, you're going to hold on to them for a while. Sold this for $8.99. It's been up for a couple months. Finally getting out of here. You know, a couple bucks, profit. One's better than zero. I kept one of those. They work awesome. Oh, the Bomix TV boxes. These. So these Sony headphones. Now, hopefully you didn't get a pair of these, but they sell well if they work. I forget if they're 30 or 40 bucks. I think they're high end. I sold these for $15. But one side doesn't work. I mean, they're brand new. No wear, nothing. But these are going through GSP. I messaged the buyer and I said, hey, just so you know, there's no returns. This part's not working. One side works. I didn't hear from them. I'm just going to ship it out. What else did I sell? I sold something else that I don't have down here. I will just tell you what it is. I had a bunch of sales today. I was surprised. A bunch of little items. What's the last thing I sold? Some Nikon mobile adapter. I sold that for 30 bucks or 30 bucks. I just got, if you watched my unboxing, my most recent unboxing, it's about that big. I forgot to grab it out upstairs. So that was 30 bucks. And last thing I sold was an open box OtterBox. So there you go, teal. I think it's, I thought what it's in a plus. I think it's a 7. What did I list it as? Yeah, this iPhone 7 Plus. Based on here, based on the slant there. Is it worth getting Sony wireless headphone fixed or sell broken? I sell Sony broken. I believe they need a receipt. Donna sold 4. So I've heard OtterBox being on Vero that you get flagged. I sell OtterBoxes all the time. I don't know why they say that. Maybe they're not flagging me, but I sell OtterBox all the time. Catherine had 1 sale. Don had 4. Nice. Carol didn't have any. Benji had 1. Oh, Diana, how's it going? Good to see you again. Sales are increasing for me finally. 50% off to clear stock. Redneck has 2. Good. So it sounds like the majority of people had sales today, which is awesome. I love to hear when you guys have sales. 2 items for you today, Dwayne. Awesome. Great. So yeah, feedback. So that's kind of that's my process, what I do for feedback. Again, warranty. If you guys have questions on warranties, you can get these warranty replacement. Someone stated every item $6. Well, what you do is I wait for a couple to come in broken. I find the items on the warranty sheet. I group them all together, and I pay $6 one time, and I get the new item back. Let me know if you want to know how to do that, but I can get replacement OtterBoxes, and you only pay the $6 once if you group them together. If you do them individually, yes, you will pay $6 every time. But I was quite surprised. This one was fine. It was just open box. So little sales today. We'll see. That camera's going to come back. I'll let you know how that turns out. This is the case, Carol. Yep, and it has the belt clip. The case with it has the protector on it with the button, and that's it. So yes, just the case and the clip. Adam, yeah, I shipped 3 to 4 together. The last one I think I did 3, and I got them all back, and now I'm listing them. I just got a broken one on my lot the other night. I think 2 lots ago that I showed you. I'm gonna wait until I get some more, and I'm going to lot them up together on that warranty. They don't want them back for some reason, which is strange to me. I'm waiting for them to send me a bill. When someone leaves me feedback, I message them through eBay to thank them and let them know of my sales and encourage them to sign up for my newsletter. I often get repeat sales doing this just alone. Nice. Yeah, that's the other thing. For your store, you can ask them to sign up. I end up, people follow me for some reason on my eBay store. I never asked them to. Darren, 4 sales of Christmas DVDs. Nice. Get those out of here. All right. I think today's Wednesday, right? If you guys want to jump in the listing challenge, there's a couple in there. There's a giveaway going on. If you're not aware of it, go on the Facebook group. $25 up for grabs for Saturday. There will be a drawing. And you guys want to join that? Shoot over there. There's a link down below for the Facebook group. Adam says, how do they ship them? They ship them in a padded envelope in a little plastic sleeve. They did send me a brand new one in the original packaging. I don't know why, but it was all in the outer box packaging, like it came right off the shelf. No idea why they sent me a brand new one. But yeah, they're just plastic sleeves with the items in a bubble wrap envelope. So hopefully you liked the video. Hopefully I can help you out with feedback. If you have further questions, let me know. Hit that like button. Join the group. We've got a lot of good comments, feedback going on through there. Leave comments down below after the video between now and Saturday on any video that I've posted since yesterday to get 1 entry into the drawing. And we'll see you over on Facebook. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.